Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome. Hope everyone's having a great Saturday. I needed to do the live stream a little bit early this morning. I'm heading out to the lake here in an hour or so. So needed to get this out in the morning and then go rest my mind and that's important, right? To rest your mind on the weekend so that we're sharp on the weekdays. So anybody who is interested, we're going to go ahead and start digging into the charts and start off with what we got. So, morning, and let's just give it a minute or so, and then we'll get started. I do want to talk about. So we've got major tech earnings this week, and we have. It's a pivotal week when it comes to earnings. Lots of major market moving stocks are reporting earnings. So there's potential to move the market next week. And then also it looks like we have an FOMC meeting, a Fed meeting. And I think that obviously has potential to move the market as well. As far as I can tell, the market's pricing in no changes. And I think that's highly probable. The Fed's not going to do anything. They're just going to sit there and talk about how inflation's transitory. They're going to continue to do that likely until they see signs that, if inflation's increasing, then they're likely going to have to, maybe they'll try to do a quarter point hike. I really don't know. I don't know what to anticipate around that. But I do think that they're likely going to just continue to talk about transitory inflation and it's going to roll off. But I mean, eventually transitory has a time limit, right? There's a time limit on the word transitory. So we have to kind of see how that plays out. So minutes coming out, I think those come out on Wednesday at 11 Pacific time. So, all right, let's get into the charts, guys. What do you guys have? So we'll start off here. Oh, Facebook, mRNA, Google, Amazon, SQ, PayPal. That's a lot. Well, so I can tell you the one that I took a trade on Friday was PayPal. We can look at that one. I took a starting short position on this one. I'm on the weekly chart here, but I think we could grind a little bit more higher, but it's in the area that I want to start to take a short position. So the thing that I like about that one, a couple things I like about this one, we made an all-time new high on Friday. So I got it circled right there, but if I get rid of that, you made an all-time new high on Friday. That's an all-time new high in PayPal. Just above the previous high, which was really right here. Intraday, we made a high on this day. This is the February 16th. We made a high of, 309.07, right around there. And it looks like we just made a new high on Friday at about 309.51. So new high. But that high was a divergent high right there. So you can see here, let me expand the PPO. Clear negative divergence. See how the PPO is turned down? You've already had the bearish crossover and it's pointed down. Kind of pointed up right now, but still in general down. We put in that new peak right there. There's your former peak. So that's your negative divergence on the PPO. And then the RSI, really did the same thing where you basically kind of put in a new peak. So you've already confirmed the negative divergence and we just got the new high. So what I would say is now I'm looking for a rejection of what seems to be a broken trend line. So this is the trend line that I have on the daily chart. This is going all the way back to May. And if you look at the hourly, it shows a little cleaner, but you've got a reaction here, reaction here, reaction here, and then you broke. And then we're running up for a back test. So they report earnings, I think, on Tuesday, the 28th. Let me look here, see when they report earnings. Yeah, the 28th, it looks like. So we likely are going to grind around and not do anything. So what I expect this thing to do is probably pop and hit this trend line and do that for the next until earnings come out, and then it'll move. As far as I can tell, it's going to sell down on the earnings. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. That's why I'm only taking a starter position on it. I'm not going to load up short on the thing. I'm just going to take a a starter position. Hey guys, real quick, I usually do the live streams on Saturdays. I did one on Sunday last week just because I was busy on Saturday. I typically do them around Saturday, from around 9 to 10 o'clock, right around there. So that's the standard. And I don't do them every Saturday, but I try to get to them, to help you guys out on some charts. Okay, so I took a starter short on PayPal. We'll see how that plays out. Again, where am I wrong? And that's important to know where you're wrong. This is all part of the trading. I'm wrong if let's say earnings come out and it's positive and they pop it up here and we get that daily close up here. And I'm probably wrong then, and I'll just cover. All right. So things to watch on that. If and that's it on that one. PayPal, that one looks interesting. All the other fangs, Facebook probably looks the same. I don't chart Facebook too often, but Facebook, see, I already had a chart drawn out. So there's my Facebook chart that I already had. Going back to 2014, it looks like we started to put in this clean up trend. We broke below in 2018. We've been backtesting ever since. So you have to recognize that, we've just been creating a secondary trend line. But where are we at? You see on Friday, they traded it right up to that trend line. And that held so far. So looks like it got rejected off that trend line. Let's look at the hourly. You can see just right up to it and rejected. I've had that trend line there for a while on Facebook. So that was resistance and, getting rejected there. So I would say, when's earnings on this one? Because again, earnings, everything's right before earnings on these things. They're all set up to move, but we got earnings. So you really want to, I prefer to wait. At least when I load up on a position, I prefer to wait but for earnings to get out of the way. But there's a resistance. So I would say let earnings get out of the way, but I think it's likely if you get any kind of downside move, you got a gap to watch right there. So I'd watch that gap. 351.66, and then who knows, could go a lot lower. Little bit of a bearish rising wedge right there, and it's been pretty tricky, right? Broke to the downside, ripped it back up, really choppy. But again, this is all price action that's taking place right before earnings. So that's why usually like breakdowns that happen on like right before earnings, you never usually want to trust that kind of stuff. Breakouts or breakdowns, see major moves that are happening right before earnings, it's likely going to be a whipsaw signal. So, all right, so there's two of yours, Sashi. And, I covered Amazon in my video on Friday. I covered, a lot of those fangs on Friday. SQ, well, we can look at SQ because I have talked about that one recently. Here's SQ. So SQ looked like a short. We'll see. I think earnings are coming out. Here's earnings. It was back testing right here. So it looked like a short. And actually, if you shorted it right there at the back test, you would have been profitable at, recently. Not by a lot. Let's say you shorted it right there. I think, 6% or so, 6% profit. So, whether you took that or not, I don't know. I would probably, if I was short this, I'm not short it anymore, but if I was short this thing, I would, I don't know. I'd probably cover and wait for earnings to get out of the way. The chart's not super clean. We're above support right now. If earnings comes out, maybe they'll hang it out above support here till earnings, and then earnings will go down and break that trend line again. Look for that kind of stuff. Otherwise, it's above support. So that's all I got. Probably need to wait for earnings on that one. All right. What do you guys have? What else do you guys have? GDXU. Okay. That must be a gold mining stock. Microsector. Okay, so something about these 3 times leveraged, these 3 times leveraged things, they've got decay because they have to use futures. Typically, they're using futures to get the leverage. So over time, they're going to downtrend. This one's brand new, it looks like. Yeah, there's nothing I would chart on this. Don't use these for charting. What I would use, if you're going to trade these things, chart the gold chart, or, you know, kind of the major, you know, this is gold miners, so I'd probably chart GDX. Use GDX to be your guide, and then you can take a position on this if you need, you know, if you want to get leverage. My broker, the way they handle it with my buying power, if I could buy $30,000 of GDX, and if I buy $10,000 of this, they take away $30,000 of buying power. So they account for the leverage when I buy these. So it doesn't really matter, I guess, in my mind. What I like to use these things for is day trading, typically. So Fed days, I'll usually have like NUG, NUGT up. I'll have dust up, because usually the gold and the dollar, one of those is going to move. Can be tricky though on those Fed days, because there's usually a lot of chop. But you know, if the Fed comes out and surprises, then you usually can find a move in either the dollar or gold, because it's all about rates, and those are relevant. So I would chart I'm not going to chart this, but I would chart GDX, and then just, you know, if you have a breakout in GDX, then this thing should trend higher too. Fib levels, you know, I don't use fib levels. The thing is, so you know, I've tried a lot of different methods in charting. I've tried day trading in the past. What I found is that in day trading, so the guys that are successful in day trading, like there's a guy, Mir Barak, I'm pretty sure he's all over the internet. And that guy's relatively successful in day trading. But, and I don't, from what, you know, I've watched his strategy and his style, and it doesn't look like it's a scam in any way to me. It looks pretty legit. Looks like he's just, you know, a day trader, and he's pretty good at what he does. But the thing is that, you know, a lot of the time he like puts up how much money he makes. Like, oh, I just made $20,000 today. And that's great. He did, you know, he probably did make $20,000, but you know, he doesn't call out how much money he's using to make that $20,000. And usually it's like, you know, it's like $1 million, you know, or, you know, sometimes more. I mean, he'll take like $3 million on a trade, and it'll tick down, you know, 50 cents, and he's taking his profit on 50 cents. So, you know, I mean, if you got $1 million to throw around, you know, and you got to probably have a little bit more than that, because you make one wrong move and you're down 20 grand. So, you know, percentage terms, he usually doesn't have huge percentage winners. And for smaller traders, you know, if you've got, you know, I mean, even if you throw 100 grand into a trade and capture 50 cents, you know, maybe it's a couple $100. It's more difficult unless you got large amounts of money to throw around with that trading strategy. So I've tried a lot of different things, and the point about the fibs is I found that you know, finding a simple amount of indicators and a kind of a simple repeatable trading strategy is more effective than, you know, throwing up fibs and seeing different, you know, something different based on fibs, and then throwing up, you know, I look at the moving averages. I don't throw them up on my charts all the time, but, you know, like a 200 days, SMAs, things like that. Those are good to understand. But I've just found that keeping it very simple, using volume, using divergences, using trend lines, and then trading the you know, if you know, taking your positions around key levels, and then if it doesn't work, knowing when you're wrong early and quick, and get out with small losses, you know, taking small losses. I found that works better than you know, having conflicting indicators telling me one thing and trying to second guess. So that's why I don't use them too often. But, you know, sometimes on the weekend, if I'm doing kind of deep analysis of like general markets and stuff, I'll throw up some fibs and look at it. All right, moving on back to stocks, guys. I've got about another 15 minutes, and then I need to wrap up. I can't go too long today, so I'm going to just try to get into these stocks. Car. Okay, so car. All right, here's what's going on with car. It's still on a sell signal. They're clearly trying to, you know, run it up against that sell signal. So your sell signal was right there. That's your break of trend. Here's your major trending car going back to March 2020 low. So you have an uptrend, but, you know, oftentimes when we're going to start a downtrend, it's not going to just be a crash, right? You don't, Stocks don't, that's not how they move, especially after a long extended uptrend. They're not going to just go straight down. Usually what they'll do is there's a lot of dip buyers in this market. So they're going to come down and the dip buyers are going to come in and buy it up. It's going to chop sideways a little bit. It's going to chop you out. Then it'll break. All right. So I think that's what's going on here. I'm currently not short this thing. I saw it kind of running and I exited it right there on this day, this kind of rip day right here. I got out but I am looking to get back in. So, I kind of move in and out of positions, but when on my videos, I talk about really the longer term swing trade. I am looking for another entry on this. If it can do a full back test, great. That would be a great entry for a short position. Again, I want to look short to this though. I don't want to go long. I want to look short because major trend is broken. So there's your trend. Usually, they break trend and they're going to do some counter move trying to wash out shorts. That happens. It's very common. And so I want to look to sell the rip. And this is a rip, 5-day rip. And I want to look to sell it. So I think we'll probably we could pop above that breakdown candle right there. Start looking for selling, maybe right around here. But I wouldn't want to just like short or add to a short until I see it start to show up. Again, the market's going to move this week likely with these earnings, these tech earnings and the Fed. So a lot of these are going to start to give you some, clearer direction after that. So again, if this pops up, I'm going to short it right back up here. I don't want to be long. I want to get short again. And if you're already short and you're just kind of, maybe you're taking on losses. If you took the short right here on the sell signal, which is where I would advocate to take it, that's where I talked about taking it, then you're basically at break even. So what do you want to do? Do you want to, you could cover at break even and maybe try to reshort it at higher prices. There's no harm in just getting out break even, or just ride it out. We got earnings also on this coming up. So again, everything's right before earnings. They're coming up here in August 3rd. I'm looking to reshort this though. That's what I'm looking to do. It's just about getting that position. I want to get it higher. I'd like to be able to get it up here if I could. But maybe maybe this is the end of that rally. Again, earnings are probably going to dictate what's going on. BS, thank you for that. I do appreciate that. I forgot to mention that. Thanks for that super chat. I do appreciate that. So, all right, what else do we have, guys? BIDU. Okay, we can look at BIDU. Chinese stocks. Just give me a second. Okay, so there is some bullish divergence showing up in BIDU. There's your RSI divergence, and your PPO divergence looks like it's really been building for quite some time. But let's go ahead and mark that out there. There's your PPO divergence. So divergent low, divergent low, divergent low. That's not a reason to go long, though. We got earnings coming up. I would look for some sort of a trend. The thing is, I can't make a clean trend on this guy. Yeah, I can't make a trend that would make sense. Probably go with this one right here is the best trend I can make. Okay, so I would say that somewhere right in there. Bullish on a breakout above that. Otherwise, we remain bearish in price. Although the divergences are telling me that we're likely going to get a move, either break that trend line or at least a move up there. But I would wait for a break of that trend line to go long on that one for a swing trade. Okay, next, moving on. Snap exploded higher. I'm glad I bailed on that one a while ago. On Friday they exploded. So there's earnings. All right, so the only thing I can see on this, I don't see any trade right now on this. I wouldn't want to be long because you've got negative divergences. They've just been building for some time. And look, the recent, I mean, this is a divergent high right now. It's on the PPO. Now the RSI is pointed up. So if it doesn't turn down, then maybe we'll burn through the divergence, but it's there right now. So I would look for the RSI to turn down, confirm that negative divergence, which would mean that this is another divergent high. I think it's likely going to trade up here for a little while, but possibly won't go too much higher. Maybe it wants to grind around and then break. That's what I would think is going to happen, but just because those negative divergences. But if those get burned through, then that's bullish, and Snap's probably going to make another leg higher because there is the potential for this to be like a bull flag. You got the flagpole, there's your flag, and then you break off and continue higher. So I would wait till those divergences kind of disappear a little bit if I was going to go long. But obviously that's a breakout. You know, look at the volume, big volume too. So big volume breakout right there on earnings with negative divergence, but not fully confirmed. So yeah, I wouldn't want to short it, and I wouldn't necessarily want to go long right here and now. A little more information, maybe a long, but I wouldn't want to short it right now. So. But now if you see a break, what I would look for is if you get a break back below this level right here at 73.83, that would be a false breakout. I think it's going to trade up here for a few days, and then maybe it'll gap down and create an island cluster top or something. If that happens, not saying it's going to, but if you saw that break back down below that level, that former high, then this is a false breakout, and that would be pretty bearish, and I think we're going a lot lower in that scenario. All right, moving on. mRNA. All right, guys, I got about 8 minutes. Here's mRNA. So I got to adjust this trend line because that's not working anymore. So I'd say that. We had some bull flagging action back here. I can clean this up while I'm going. All right, so what do we have? We have a divergent high on the PPO. And on the RSI, however, not confirmed. So you'll see here, it is negative divergence, but it's not confirmed. This is pointed up. So any, a little more high, any higher, and you're going to burn through that whatever divergence is there on the RSI. And the same with the PPO, it's turned up. So if it continues to go higher, you're going to go like that and burn through and make a new high and burn through that divergence. So it's not confirmed. You usually want to wait for it to confirm to tell you that, okay, there is negative divergence. Now I'm going to start to look for a short trade. And on this one, you got a longer term trend line. We got earnings coming up. And I would look, right now I'd say bullish on this one. I don't know if I'd want to be putting new money to work, but there's your hourly trend line. Look for a break of that, a breakdown of that. Hourly close. You want to wait for that hourly close, that candle to close. A nice close below there, that'd be a sell signal. And that should likely move us down at a minimum to gap fill. There's a gap right here, 261.40 roughly, and then probably this trend line down here. There's negative divergence on the hourly, but it's not confirmed. So you want to see that confirm, and then that would give you an indication that, okay, this is likely going to break, and look for a move to a gap fill. Let's say we break. That's a 20. Yeah, I'd just go for gap fill. 25% drop. That's possible, but until you see the divergences confirm, until you see the break of the trend line, it's bullish. All right, that's the way to treat it. Okay, what else do we have? I see. Do I think gold will go down to 1,300? No, I do not. I don't think gold will go down to 1,300. Gold would be. So here's gold bullion. There's some major support down here at 1570. You can see all the areas of support. It's a range, of course, but as you zoom in, you can see we basically got close to that level, held it right there. So there's support, major support right in there. So if we were going to drop then that would be probably the final target on that drop before it rallies higher. And that's possible, I guess. You know, I'm not gonna ride my gold miners long all the way down to that level. I'll likely exit those. As of right now, I'm bullish on gold and gold miners. Okay, what else do we have, guys? I'm kind of scanning the comments. ICICI Bank. I have no idea what that is. What's the symbol for that? You got to put the symbol in there. It can't be ICICI, right? ICICI. What? Okay. This is traded on, what exchange is that? NSE. We can look at it. It's COVID drop there. So we'll just, yeah. You're still above trend as far as I can tell. This kind of bullish trend that it's been making, still above trend. I don't see a break of trend right there. Not the cleanest trend line, to be honest. It's, when's this earnings? Looks like it's through earnings. You don't have negative divergence yet. You see the PPO? See how we're downtrending on that one, like that. But price was also downtrending. That made a lower low with a lower low in momentum. So no divergence. Just looks like a correction, and what I can tell is an uptrend. I don't see anything different on that one. Okay, what else do we have? Got stopped out on most of your shorts. You know, that's why, you know, I was taking some profit on a lot of these shorts as we were dropping. So, like, the ones that I got out of, I still have some of them, but I got out of Toll Brothers, you know, down there at that support, took that all off. Let's see, this one, I did take this one off. I added it back, though. C's, I covered it, but then I reshorted it right there at 46.38. So I'm still on that one. Kind of a half position, but I still think this one's heading down to this 36.60. And, you know, I took this car off. I talked about that. I'm still on Ally. I'm short AEO, short BLK. I mean, these look good, you know. Look at this BLK, BlackRock. Uptrend line there. You know, there's your sell signal, you know, kickback rally, bounce off resistance, continue lower, sell the rip, right? You rip and you short into that rip or sell. You know, if you're long, you get out. So I still think this is heading lower. We're through earnings already, so we don't have earnings risk. We have Fed risk, you know, but that's it. But that one looks good. AEO looks good. You know, it's kind of, they're trying to hold it. We'll see. I'd like to see some impulsive breakdown next week. Earnings coming up as well, but as of right now, still below trendline support. Looking for some downward price action. All right, guys, I'm gonna do one more and then I gotta go. So which one would you guys like? GM and MGM? Yeah, I can look at those. I am still short GM and MGM. Yep. I'm definitely still short those. GM, I'll just cover those and then we'll wrap up. Where's GM if I can find it? Well, we'll just throw it up here. I don't see any reason to not be short this thing, right? I mean, here's where you want to be long in an upward price channel, but towards the top of the price channel, you put in that big negative divergence. See, here's your former high in momentum and your former high in price. And then you made these new highs, divergent high, divergent high, divergent high, divergent high. So that's, you know, that's why negative divergence isn't a reason to short, because you can just continue to extend those, and oftentimes they do. So that just tells you, okay, likely not too much higher, and we're gonna break a trend. And we did get that break. There's your sell signal, broke trend, kicked it back with a back test. The seller stepped in, and we're back down. So we need to obviously take out the lows down here. And the support area that I have on this, it's not the best because we kind of chopped through it a little bit. And you got the lows down here as well. I think the closing lows are probably likely going to be good enough. Oh, let's grab that somewhere right there. Need to take those out for the next kind of leg lower. But again, as far as I can tell, it looks like it's going to make it. 53.95. Take out those. And, you know, we got earnings coming up, though. So maybe we just tread water and chop sideways, kind of whip around until then. Yeah, I think 46.91 is a pretty good target on this one. I like that target. And so that's what I'm trading it for. I'm still short that one. MGM, still short this one as well. Again, I mean, it's downtrending, right? So here's my target. It's about 34. And look, I mean, here's your uptrend right there, clear uptrend. And now we broke trend with the sell signal. We had the negative divergence, and we're making lower lows and lower highs. So, you know, yeah, they rallied it 3 days strong last week, but didn't make a new high. And, you know, started to sell off into the close of the week. And it's... looks like it's going to make a new low. So 34 is where I'm looking to cover that one. Could be lower. You know, we could go a lot lower for sure. I mean, there's potential levels, but I like 34 as kind of a high probability target. And from where that's at right now, I think that's another 12%. And then, you know, from the sell signal, which was right here, you know, if you took it, let's say you took it halfway through the day, you're looking at a 20% trade. All right. So thank you, Ice Loop. I do appreciate that. I appreciate all those super chats, guys. It's a good gesture. Another way, if you guys want to pay me back, I don't know if you're into it. I do the credit card thing, but I put referral links. If you're looking to take out a card and you use one of those links, it'll throw me some referral points. Nothing, you know, nothing crazy, but it's just a way that it won't cost you anything. So that's a cool thing to do. But yeah, there's your downtrend right there. And we've got 34 as the target. 20. I'm looking for, it's a 20% trade, right? I'm not looking for, you know, triple or, you know, a market collapse or this stock to completely collapse. I'm looking for a 20% trade. You know, we get multiple 20% trades throughout the year, and it all adds up. It's good. Okay, guys, that's all the time I have for today. So if I didn't cover your stock, leave a comment in this video or something about a stock you want me to cover. I do review those comments and I look for interesting ideas there, so I'll try to cover it and get to it maybe next week. Otherwise, catch you guys catch you guys on Monday, and then obviously we'll do the live stream again next Saturday. So thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Leave me a thumbs up on your way out, and I'll talk to you guys later.